Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Angelic with HealingWithAngelic.com. And today, guys, I want to take some time out and to talk about darkest before the dawn. We are moving from old habits, old karmic patterns, phobias into a newer space, a new paradigm, if you will. And moving from here to there can sometimes really feel like a leap, a jump. Like, how am I ever going to be able to heal all of this so I can get to there? And I get it, it feels daunting, but this is what we're doing. And it feels so heavy sometimes, and it feels painful. And it feels right before we get that break, we feel like we ourselves are kind of breaking. Like, how much longer do I have to be strong? How much longer do I have to pull through? It gets a little tiring, and this is all part of the plan. It's all part of the release. And what's making us feel a little bit heavier and a little bit just pulled down is really our attachments. We've had a whole lifetime to create these well-treaded neural pathways and patterns. So as we're making these changes, they're not easy. We can see like, okay, this is what I want. But when you're so used to being comfortable in your discomfort, when you're so used to certain ways of living, even if they're not the ones you want, it's what you know. And so you're in a way you're releasing your sense of security, even if those environments didn't bring you security. It's mental in nature. So as we're moving forward and we're releasing and we're letting go and we're trying to lift up our energy and move into this beautiful space of alignment and peace. Really, guys, we're moving to a space of internal peace. I wanted to be able to offer you guys three tips that's going to help you get there, because really, we have great intentions. Like, I really want to be healthy. I want to do this. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to go for it. But what trips us up or sabotages us is our insecurity and our anxiety, our fear. And those are the hormones of cortisol and adrenaline. And when that beats through us, we're just like, ooh, like a deer in the headlights. No, we have a fight or flight response. And whenever we have a fight or flight response, default mode. We go straight into default mode. What feels comfortable, what's known, because we know what to expect. And that's where we kind of find cycles and we get really frustrated with ourselves. And we're like, well, maybe, and that's okay. Be compassionate. We are all in this human experience together. We're all here to help. So I want to give you guys some tips to kind of help reduce the cortisol and adrenaline and help you so you can be in a clear space or just in a much more balanced space so you can actually take that action. So you don't self-sabotage, even if it's a small action. It's going to be okay. So tip number 1. Activity. You need to get into your body. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a gym rat. You just have to be physical. 20 minutes of physical activity is going to reduce your stress hormone of cortisol. It's going to help your brain function clearer and faster. So you're going to feel in the space of like, yes, let's do this, solve problems, solutions. So whether you go to the gym and do cardio or biking, whether you go for a run, whether you dance, whether you do yoga, whether you do rock climb, it doesn't matter. However you want to accelerate your heart, 20 minutes. And of course, within reason, if you haven't worked out in forever, take it slow. It doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it's just maybe walking your kids to the park and back at a fun pace, pushing the stroller. If you're at work all day and you have even a 30-minute break, take 15 minutes to go for that brisk walk. And you might say, Angelique, I don't want to be sweaty and gross at work. Understandable. Bring a change of clothes. You don't have to do it, or you can deal with the next 4 hours of stress and anxiety and panic that keeps coming up and you're still not being effective at work. So I promise you, I know it's hardest to start. I admit it. I'm not a big fan of the gym. It's too monotonous for me. But I do love dancing and I do love being outside. So if you go outside, you have the dual effect of grounding with nature as well as picking up the pace. And it's super great for you. Number 2. Emotional freedom technique, EFT, also known as tapping. I always feel like saying street name, tapping. And it's wonderful. You can find it free on YouTube. You can do tapping for stress, tapping for anxiety, tapping for heartbreak, tapping for grief, tapping for focusing, whatever it is. Tapping is basically rerouting the cortisol. They're hitting certain pressure points. It's very easy. Hitting certain pressure points on the body where the cortisol is routed. And what you're doing as you're thinking about the stressful experience, trauma, person, fear, the cortisol is running. And as you're doing it, you're working through all the emotions. You could even be talking to yourself like, I'm feeling all this stress right now. I don't know what to do. What's good about following along on YouTube is, number 1, you learn the hand movements. Number 2, you kind of get a feel for how to do it. And they're going to say words and you just follow along. They try to make it a little general so that you can move through it. The key is to be in that space. You want to do the tapping when it comes up or around the time that your stress or anxiety or panic is kicking in, because we need the cortisol to be running. As you're tapping, it's rerouting the cortisol from the amygdala. So it takes 10 minutes tops. And the next time that you think of that person, place, thing, experience, you have no anxiety response, no stress response. Now, if on a scale of 1 to 10, you're feeling like, oh, I'm a 10, doing it 1 or 2 times might get you down to a 7 or 6. So you might have to do a couple times, and do it when you get home. Do it the next day. And before you know it, 0. You have wired your brain and rewired the cortisol to that person, place, thing, event, idea, belief. It is incredible. Sometimes I do it all the time. It's wonderful. Third tip, journaling. Now, hear me out on this. I'm not asking for a Dear Diary. Dear Diary, today was beautiful. No. Sometimes when I journal, I should just call it writing, but writing with intention. It's called energy transference. Whenever you're having an emotional energy, in order to leave the body, it must be expressed. That is the only way. As a healer, as a psychic, as a life coach, I see this all the time. That's why we have trauma from childhood. We haven't let it out. But when we write, we are doing a physical movement, an automatic movement, and it's moving the emotional energy from the body onto the paper. This is why you can't really type it or, vocalizing is good, but it's stronger when it's a little bit more physical. So do both. I've done recording too when I'm driving and I just need to get it out. And it does help me think clearer, but when I write it, I feel the cathartic release. Kind of like after you cry, you feel lighter. You could just write whatever. Sometimes, and it's the truth, I'm going to be very blatant, very honest, sometimes I just write cuss words because that's how I express. That's me, this and that. It's just like, you can be writing, I'm freaking out right now. I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. I want to respond. I want to react. I want to lose my ish. I want to just cry and scream. I don't know what to do. I can't get off. Right. Be honest. There's no reason to make this pretty. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be authentic. And it's supposed to be a reflection of your feelings in the moment. Once you do, I promise you're going to feel so much lighter, clearer. Just try it. Don't give up on it. Don't write 2 sentences and be like, oh, forget this. Go through it. You can burn it, bury it, throw it, whatever, rip it up, throw it. But it's necessary for you to move the energy out of the body. And it's great. And after that space, you might realize like, okay, I'm clearer. I can think clearer. You're not as reactionary. You're responsive. Like, you know what? I'm not going to send that text. I am not going to answer that phone call. Instead, I'm going to go outside, be with a loved one, schedule that therapy or life coaching appointment. I'm going to meditate instead, or I'm just going to take some melatonin and go to sleep. You're in a better space. You're not as emotionally charged. Try them out, guys. They're amazing. They're wonderful. And I just know with this energy, as fun and inspiring as this Leo energy is, and thank goodness for it, we really needed it. We are still having our moments of resistance, and we're still having our release. I don't want to call it a release party. We can look at it as a fun thing. We are having our releasing moments. And it is heavy and it is painful. And sometimes all I do is drop on my knees and pray. I'm not religious, but I pray to what I believe in. Or I drop on my butt and I meditate. Or I go for that run and that walk and I surrender and I do everything that I know how to do. And most importantly, I serve. Because when we could become very, very sad, we become very egocentric. And I'll make a video on that and how to move out of that as well. But I hope this serves you guys. Have a beautiful Wednesday. If you guys are interested in any of my services, psychic readings, life coaching, healing, my link is down below. And if it's anything you guys would like to hear more of, let me know. Otherwise, guys, have a beautiful week and I'll speak soon.